your ergo power training, you learn just how important it is to stretch to maintain the health of your muscles and your joints. You know, 10 or 15 years ago in business and industry, there was a big push to get people to stretch, the goal being to reduce the number of work-related injuries occurring. These days, there seems to be a tremendous amount of confusion about whether or not stretching has any benefits at all. I want to spend a couple of minutes and try and explain what this confusion is and actually talk about what the true benefits, proven benefits of stretching would be for you. Most of the research done today applies to prevention of sports-related injuries in athletes. And this typically involves tremendous amount of stress or forces applied to healthy tissues, tearing them. And it's true, stretching has not been proven to prevent that type of injury. The problem is that doesn't relate to the work environment because work-related injuries through cumulative trauma typically involve tissues becoming slowly damaged and structurally weakened over the years, and then normal stresses, normal loads tearing them. And so that research does not apply to work-related injuries. So to give you an example of the difference between a sports injury and a work-related injury, let's talk about shoulder injuries. You know, you can have a skier doing a mogul run, he falls, lands the wrong way on his shoulder. It's normal, healthy tissue, but the stress of the fall is enough that it tears that normal, healthy tissue. Then, as a work-related injury, working with a hot stick or pulling wrenches, stressing and slowly damaging that shoulder capsule over the years, and then one day he just pulls on a wrench, normal forces, normal loads, but the tissue is so damaged, it tears it. These are completely different mechanisms of injury, and that's why this research that's related to sports injuries and stretching does not apply to the work environment. Another example of this confusion about stretching and its benefits I hear a lot is that people say, hey doc, I hear this research that shows stretching does not reduce pain. Well, unfortunately, that's related again to athletes and sports, and it relates to stretching not reducing post-workout pain, the pain you may feel after an intense workout. Problem is, again, that doesn't apply to the work environment. And proof of this is if you've ever had a Charlie horse where your calf muscle cramps up, it's painful. And what do most people do? You stretch it. What happens to the pain? It disappears. Stretching does reduce pain when it's due to muscle spasm, and that's typically the type of pain you'll see in the working environment. Probably one of the last common misconceptions I hear about when we do training is people say, hey doc, I hear this research that stretching doesn't actually increase your range of motion or lengthen muscles. Now again, this is related to sports research where you're dealing with people who are younger, athletic, and typically have normal range of motion to begin with. And so it's not a surprise that stretching does not increase their range of motion. In fact, you wouldn't want it to increase their range of motion. But when you do research in elderly populations, people's in their 50s and 60s and 70s, even when there's significant degenerative arthritis, studies show that stretching does increase their range of motion and increase their ability to function on a daily basis and be more physical in the things that they do. So what are some of the proven benefits of stretching? Well, orthopedic research shows that stretching actually speeds up and enhances the recovery of damaged muscle. Your muscles will repair faster when they're injured if you stretch versus if you don't stretch, and that's indisputable. It's believed that this occurs by